Hope you get the lot, you dog. Get back on protecting your mat.
Might just join you by the bed there, mate. What's going on? Waiting for a mate. That way your car's all smashed up.
Can't wait for some of these snags. This is going to be good at.
You wouldn't believe it, we're finally here. Series 1, Episode 1, The Quarter Life Crisis. The podcast we've been demanding for 6 years straight. The page that's followed by every degenerate, hopefully in the country, it's finally brought it to life. I want you to imagine the birds are chirping at 6 a.m. You're trapped with some IT sales consultant. His hair's a long way back on his forehead. You've been looking at him sort of reaching for his pocket for the last sort of hour and a half. He's not going for it. He's got another business plan to pitch for you, even a podcast idea. The Uber's not coming. That's the vibe I want you to bring to this podcast.
Yeah, you're stuck and the birds are singing. The garbage truck has come and there's glass bottles being smashed and we're ready to get the hell out of there. And that's what 28's about, mate.
That's it. And if you haven't noticed, this is my mate Ricky over here.
Hey, dude, first things first, we made one promise on the big-ass trailer, and that was to rip that lid off. Are you guys ready to see who the 28-year-old male actually is? You will not be disappointed. All right, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Holy shit, he's a normal human.
There's a lot of dye in that beard.
Oh, mate.
I haven't seen it myself in a few years, and so it's come up on the screen here.
Dude, I'm going to say, I've been trying to get we've been talking for years on chat, and I've been trying to get old 28 out for a beer. Really, just purely to unmask him. Just go, who is this funny bastard? Who is this guy? And then finally got to meet ya, and I got to say, you don't get illusioned. This guy is 6'10". Mate, you are huge. He's an absolute Chad.
Well, I sort of give fuck off.
Alpha Chad.
I sort of get
I was expecting like a little Ballarat chubby guy in the pub, like the guy that never stops talking shit, constantly has a black eye from being punched.
Don't get me wrong, that's me. The hair pills worked after a while.
Oh,
it was sort of sitting back here, but as you can see, it's really coming into its own. But another trip to Turkey, and we might have a full set of tea too.
Let's talk about the 28, dude. I mean, you are a phenomenon on the internet. A phenomena or phenomenon?
Either one works. They're probably not relevant.
Yeah, I know.
But we like to pump ourselves. We have a high opinion of ourselves here.
I know. Where did that start and how did it get going and when did it really just break through the internet?
Mate, it was ridiculous. It was literally, I hit 28 and just everything that can go wrong went wrong. It's just,
really?
It was really that quintessential. You look around the kick-ons, you're with a whole bunch of people you don't know these fucking people.
Yeah.
You've just gone out because you want to drown your life away. It was sounding depressing early, but you know, you all fucking know. And it started by anything to avoid getting a counsellor and going to therapy was the motto. So I'll take the piss out of my mates. It started with like a little Batuta style news article that was taking the piss out of me going to Bali and just to drown away my sorrows and a bunch of footy blokes doing this and that. And it just, Brown Cardigan must have got a hold of it. But it just sort of took off from this sort of taking the piss out of myself to avoid therapy thing to it hit a nerve.
But I think what makes you unique is you are a wordsmith, bro. Like you have a dialect that is just beautiful. And especially, being a Melbourneite myself, you could just tell you're a Melbourne-based little goon.
What gave it away was the constant references to grouse and Melbourne bitter.
Revs. There was a few up the revolver steps, all that kind of shit. Yeah. And it's like, you get it takes one to know one. So I think but dude, you're skyrocketing now, and now we're doing a podcast, but you saying at 28, that's when the quarter life crisis starts?
Well, that was it. It's, I'd like to say I've come out the other side of it, and we'll pretend like that.
I feel like, people say, oh, how old do you feel? I think you always feel 28, don't you?
Well, that's it. That's the point of that page, I think. I think that's why it struck a chord. Because there's all these, you look at all the people commenting, and this is the best thing about it. Yeah. You post something up, I can say whatever. But the people that jump into those comments and go on yarns and fucking just hit the chord perfectly. Blokes, I saw last week this bloke talking about how he was sitting out in front of a cubicle, listening to these blokes in there having a good time, and you can hear the nostrils flaring up, and he still thinks this bloke's, got to be 40.
Are you talking about you, dude?
Yeah, this other bloke. It's a different bloke. This is definitely me. And they come out of the toilets and they're trying to put it away, and no one notices, and you give them the old, having a bit of fun in there, boys, are you? Yeah. They've looked at me like, oh, no, the old bloke's figured it out.
Yeah, I know. It feels like that because sometimes, when you I'm 38 now, And you occasionally on that one purple patch, you're like, oh, going to Cuba, it's some guy's birthday. And you go there and that's when I realised, shit, I'm old. And you start to feel a bit envious because these kids are having so much fun.
When you say envious, you mean full-blown jealousy,
Probably
right?
a little bit. Probably a little bit. And you lose that energy and you're like, oh, God. And then you just get a duck out of there and smoke bomb.
But you know how I get my energy back?
What?
It's not what you're thinking too. It has nothing to do with your nose.
Yeah.
There's a couple of videos. There's this bloke running into a tornado in the outback.
There you go.
Which sort of leads into how the fuck we know each other and how we came to meet. You took over the internet.
Yeah, we did for a patch there. A couple of me and a few mates were making these viral videos, and I don't know, I think over Facebook and YouTube they got over like 500 million views. So we kind of
500 million
we went a bit
views.
bananas, and especially that like tornado one, it was going a bit nuts. It was on Fox News. You're like, I don't know, it's clearly fake for anyone. I don't want to ruin it for you. But that's kind of what got me into, you know, a fair bit of chunk of filmmaking.
Yep.
And from there, I've just been making short films. I made a feature film a couple of years ago with 2 Chainz and Antonio Banderas. So
that's a combination. When in life, did you ever just sit down and go, now, the two people I'm going to work with, I can...
28, Antonio Banderas.
Male, Antonio Banderas, and 2 Chainz.
I know. It's pretty crazy, but that's my passion is storytelling and filmmaking and writing and directing. But, you know, and then meeting yourself, we've kind of gone, fuck, let's make a fucking podcast, mate.
No, mate. I've got to back over that, actually. There was something the funniest part, I reckon, there was every one of those clips is fucking gold. I loved it. And I want to go into that project too at some stage. But I was watching like the synopsis thing. There was like a 4-minute video about all 9 clips of it. And did they really get an FBI analyst in to dissect the video? This is legit. Look it up. We'll put the videos in there in the description. Did they really on air on CNN?
It was on CNN, and I think it's because Joe Rogan saw one we did with a bear and a girl snowboarding. And then CNN are like, apparently these videos could be fake. And they had an FBI analyst. He's like an intelligence man. And he was there at the back, and they had all the sci-fi stuff behind him. And he's like, you can see a patch frame here and it's like, dude, clearly, man, it's just a fucking video.
I'd love to know if that bloke's still employed. Imagine going on international TV and declaring, hey, my knowledge tells me and my extensive research says that this is real.
I know. So how's life for you these days, mate? Because I got to say, 6'10", 28-year-old male, but you also went to college for basketball in Texas.
I was the bloke who couldn't get on the park in anything I was doing for more than a week without my knees blowing out. So I did all right in a couple of sports, but as you can probably tell now, at 36 in a couple of weeks.
Jesus, you're just a young buck, though.
Oh, Jesus
No,
Christ.
you're right.
Could not get on the park at all. I was far more interested in the people that sit around sport and just the stories that come out of things. Like a good yarn. And fuck, when I found the kick-ons, I think it was all over.
Well, I feel like now the world's getting even crazier, and I have proof of this, dude. As of last night, man. Dude, I got it in the mail. I've been done by one of those phone cameras.
No.
That's on the, it's been
the
like
new ones,
those little white globes above every traffic light in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I'm not a phone guy on my car, but, I'm human at the same time. And it just said, Rich, you're done for $570. Not for phone call, phone on my lap.
What, so it's just sitting there?
Phone on my lap, and I thought immediately, they got the I get bar, man. That ain't the phone. So I went, Mrs. like, well, let's look up the photo. All right.
No,
so you pretty much just go
ever do
online and put your obligation number in. And then this is on Vic Police. These photos came up black and white.
Have you got the photo here? Can we get a look at it?
I do. So the photo pretty much came up, and it's me, black and white frame, driving on Beach Road, and I am sitting there in the car. It's not even on my phone. It's me. I look like I'm half asleep. My missus is like, are you getting a blowjob in the car? Look at your eyeballs rolling back.
They're horrendous angles too. They're top down, aren't they?
Climaxing, bro. Look at me. Anyway, and I'm like, no. They've got I scroll down, and then it shows the phone on my lap, and I was just like, fuck. I thought
that's pretty stiff.
I was really hoping it was my eye get. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I mean,
it's not on your lap. I wouldn't have
already
thought.
know we're in red tape city in Melbourne, but that is getting ridiculous.
Mate. So we've gone full Singaporean model, having cameras everywhere on every single corner. Is that everywhere in the country?
You can't do anything now. But I tell a lot of people.
Especially text while I'm driving.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell people about these little white globe cameras, and half of them don't know. They're secret, man. So
I don't want to log in. What's this portal you're talking about, though? You log in and all your fines come up.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. Trust me. There was a couple of old parking fines that came up. I'm like, oh, shit.
no.
But they haven't contacted. It's like 2012. All this. It brings up a whole record. I'm not the missus. Log out. I don't want them knowing I'm online.
Oh, I'm under the assumption that everything I've just sort of thrown under the passenger seat of the car is just going away.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Cool.
And then, I live in sunny Bayside on the beach. I'm lacking a bit of sleep lately, and it's not the wind. It's been crazy wind lately. But I've got a new neighbour, and it's pretty delicate
Are
situation.
you apartment or are you house? You're in apartment.
By the beach.
Neighbour.
By the beach, Roaring Bay, you know, everything on the beach
Shouldn't be able
road.
to hear him then if there's the Roaring Bay.
No, I get that. So I'm asleep, and I'm an early riser naturally because I've got a couple of cats with my beautiful fiance, and they're always waking me up at 5, all this stuff. But then all of a sudden, this is a few weeks ago, this sound comes drilling above me. You know, the complex is all built the same. So it's my bedrooms, the neighbouring flat, they're all the same bedroom in the block.
Yep.
And then next to it's my toilet. So above that toilet's another toilet.
It's above you is the new neighbour.
So I'm hearing above, and there is just this sound of someone pissing, but not just like a twinkle in the toilet. This is a gurney, hose gurney, like it's a power piss. And it's not just that.
They call it power piss for a reason.
It's enough to wake me up. And then I look to my missus. She starts stirring in the night. Like, oh, what's that sound?
Is there a smile on her face during this? Because that's concerning.
It's not just like, go take a slash, do what you... This is a mess. I reckon this is a message. He's going, no, it's a new Bulldogs in town. I'm pissing in the corner, brother.
This is the pitbull who's rocked up and gone, no, I'll piss on this. I'm the king of the jungle here.
This isn't a one-off. It's happened like probably 3 or 4 times a week. And then it got to the stage where I'm eating bolognese with my missus, and she goes, have you heard that a guy up above just drilling the bowl?
Noticed.
Oh, I know. And it's put me, it's an alpha male thing, but it's something you never recognise until now.
Remember being very, very high test.
Remember being at primary school and someone's pissing the cubicle and they're just, and you're like, whoa, that's got some.
This is the equivalent.
That's got some meat on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is like the adult equivalent of rocking up to an empty urinal except you, standing right next to you, eyeballing and going, g'day, champion.
But now
flopping
I'm
out
finding,
and dooning.
when I wake up in the morning, I'm drilling it now. Like, get some of that up, you brother.
Does he? If he can control a fart with that gurney, is he letting one rip at the same time?
No,
or is
I haven't heard that.
That's strong control.
So
that's even higher test.
Then I got to meet the guy yesterday for the first time. It was like 6 in the morning. And then I get out on the stairwell. He's there. He's like, hey, mate, how are you? I'm blah, blah from the apartment above. Dude looks like Matty McConaughey 10 years ago. We're in the middle of winter, all that crazy wind. He's got a towel over him. He's one of those popsicle iceberg swimming dudes in the bay. Yeah. And he was just rolling out in the dark to go for a bay swim. So this guy's like alpha Chad.
You got to eyeball him and actually
the sound, though? It's like...
But that's why I'm asking about the fart. So if he's not chopping his guts at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough anus control over this piss. He's so high test. He's not even pushing.
I'm losing my class, you know?
You got to do the Kegels to keep the fart in.
I don't know, mate.
Did you shake his hand?
Yeah, I gave him. He was a lovely guy, but
how did he shake it? Was it a strong shake?
Strong, and he abs the whole lot.
Yeah,
he was flexing, dude. He had swag, bro. I won't lie.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to get on the Ozempic and maybe have a trip to Turkey and actually go toe-to-toe with him. You're going to have to go harder on the bowl.
Punch on in the carport.
Not punch on. I'm talking if you figure out his timing, when does he go for that piss?
Street beefs, it's like that.
Yeah. But it's more like, I want you at the same time leaving the building with a towel over your shoulder. But if he's wearing shorts or in budgies, you've got to high test him. At every point here.
Can upgrade it, level it up.
And even if you might have to get the hose, link it into the bathroom. So he doesn't know you've got the hose. You might have to just get a proper gurney so that you're waking him up. Just spray it at the fucking roof. What do you reckon about that, Tammy?
So on this Ozempic chat, are you on this crap? Because I don't know what it is until recently, and I think it was one of the Kardashian's ex-husbands on it.
Oh, they're all doing it now.
He looks gaunt. But apparently in Hollywood, everyone's doing Ozemps.
I'm playing dumb here.
I'm not trying it, bro. I don't want the look. But I'd be all up for just trying it. Does it work?
I did one jab last week. If you've ever done steroids in your life, and I have at a younger age, we'll go into that another time. Don't do that shit. But the Wegovy is like a tiny little pen that small, and it just goes in your stomach and
like a diabetic thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought, okay, I've let it go a little bit. I'm not overweight. I wouldn't say I'm like obese or anything.
Did you stop eating?
I fucking immediately needed to shit my pants. Like it was full explosion out of my ass.
Oh, is
like
that
within
what it
10
is?
minutes.
It's just a
I didn't think
diuretic?
it was, but I spent the next like hour shitting and then came out. You just get sick and you just feel fucking gross.
Oh, wow.
But I'm down 2 kilos.
It can't be good for you.
Well,
so are you up to your second jab tonight?
So
or
I can't
something?
wait. Yeah, okay.
you
As soon as
go.
I didn't want to shit my pants on air, but not sure I'll continue with that.
But that whole turkey craze too. I mean,
With the chompers.
dudes with the neck tats,
Yeah.
and the chomps. That's a mood, isn't it?
Well, it's with
I
the-
mean, it's not my kind of mood, but it's a
But
vibe.
it's gone from a real, like the highest test, the culture of bikies have turned into
Bum bag, kind of
bum bag,
chompers.
chompers, even the hair plugs.
Would you get anything done? Your hairline actually looks quite manufactured. Is that
Yeah,
fake?
I mean, I did go to
like
Turkey
those guys
once.
that pull off the sticky wig.
The sticky
You know the
wig,
one?
the Ralph Carr.
I remember one of his.
He won't mind
I
us talking
remember
about
I
this,
went
will he?
out for dinner with him once.
With Ralph Carr?
Yeah, with Ralphie,
All right,
and it was
lock in.
Where was it? It was a bar down in South Yarra somewhere. Anyway, I was there with a couple of people having a meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
We're waiting at the back, and he's going, "Come here, come here." He's that loud
Yeah.
kind of salesman dude. I'm like, "Yeah, cool." He's proud of this joint, and we're at the back, and we're waiting for like 20 minutes to be served. And you can see him like after our formalities and brass tacks combos were
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
He was like, "Fuck, looking around." He's a funny guy, and then he finally gets his way. He's like, Darren. He's like, "Oh, you want to be served?" He's like, "Yeah, mate, I'm growing a fucking beard back here, mate." Just the way he did it was so Neville Bar. I'm growing a fucking beard back here. I just loved
With
it.
the gestures and
Anyway,
everything.
shout out to Ralph, mate. He's a solid man. He's very
Never met him in my life,
Yeah.
but heard nothing but these stories about him. He
I
sounds
know,
like a
maybe we
pretty
could
funny
get him
guy.
on.
Could we actually get him on?
I reckon we'll be able to get him on. He's a wheeler and dealer, dude.
Imagine just doing a live pod from Turkey in a hair and chomp
And
salon.
interviewing all the vain kind of bogans that are coming over.
Is there
It's like-
anyone listening or watching
Yeah, that's done
that
it.
wants or wants to go and would let us go with you?
And we'll vlog it.
That's going to happen. I think actually live while they're plugging each strand.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty painful too.
Speaking of trip, you've been in Bali, haven't you?
Yeah, I just got back.
Wait. You were saying that you crashed your lawnmower. You got to talk about that.
yeah,
You got
I
to talk about
remember
that.
this.
Probably by choice, but speaking of neighbours, this is pretty emasculating stuff, actually. But thanks for putting me in there, Maney. I appreciate that.
Who's Maney?
Oh, Maney behind here. We should probably introduce him.
That dude,
We've
yeah.
got Chris, mate. No.
So we do have a producer here at the Quarter Life Crisis because you need it, and he's currently not going through a quarter life. So we need someone
He's
above
thriving.
board that knows. Yeah,
He's actually thriving. He's got his shit together.
Yeah, exactly. So he's at the back. Maney, say something.
You did say that you weren't going to call me Maney.
Sorry.
Why
I think
do
we're doing it again, are we?
why do you call me Maney? Tell people why you call me Maney.
Your name's Braden, so we just call you Maney like Braden Maynard.
How are we going to
isn't it?
remember this name,
Yeah,
which is a
Maney.
very easy name to remember?
But then there is a Maney. That's Chris Main.
It's become
Oh, yeah,
Chris.
Chris, mate. So Chris.
So welcome to the show, Chris.
I don't know what's his name again. Anyway, back onto it.
I think Cox is what we were going to go with, but it just Maney keeps
What's
coming
this
back.
lawnmower story, dude?
We live out in the suburbs of Melbourne in Warrandyte, and this sort of bushy river sort of setup. My neighbour's gone away for a little while, and I got my first ride-on lawnmower given to me by one of my mates, and it's an old unit, but it's been doing pretty well for the most part of like 3 months. We've got a big lawn and all that sort of shit. Neighbour goes away to Europe the other day, and he goes, "Oh, would you mind, doing my lawn while I'm gone?" And
Yeah.
he's got a tiny little patch, but it's up this
And you got a
massive
ride
hill.
on?
I got the ride on. Well, I could get the pusher out because it's only a small bit of grass, or I could be hectic and drive up his driveway
hero. You
and
went
be a
hero
fucking
on.
hero with it. So drive up the big long driveway up the hill and whatever, and did it. And I started hearing a few fucking noises coming out of this lawnmower. That's not good. And not thinking ahead that you got to go down the hill again in the ride on. It's probably. The brakes might not be built for going down massive hills.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to hear this clicking and some shit's going on, and this doesn't sound good at all. And the brakes have just given out. Long story
shit.
short, and I've just gone fucking
How
flying.
steep was the
like,
hill?
Really fucking steep. So you would have POV. This is what you're saying. Fuck. And I've gone either where the camera is. That's the tree. You at home. I'm either hitting you or I'm veering off into the fence. I'm like, the fence is a better option for sure.
You're going to pay for the fence.
Oh, well, I hope the neighbour's not listening. He's in his 70s, so I'm betting he's not going to
So
listen.
you put a hole through it?
I've gone straight into the fence, but I've just gone flying over the fucking steering wheel and over the top of the fence
so you
into
carried a
my
few injuries.
yard. I am, but my pride was the worst one. There's a neighbour that I've been trying to impress for a while. It's new to the neighbourhood. We don't have kids yet. I'm trying to prove that I'm an adult too, and
Yeah,
you know I've got things going on, like I can do stuff, like ride a lawnmower down a basic hill. Anyway, he's heard the commotion, and I'm flying over. He's seen me flying, and this big high-test painter with his beautiful beard and long hair and a ponytail comes out going, "You right, champ?" He's taking over the lawnmower, and my missus comes screaming out, like, "No, don't show hair.
So did
Not
you
in front of the hot neighbour."
So did you finish the job? Is the lawn done?
No, shit, no. My lawn's about that high at the moment.
Yeah, lawnmower's cooked now.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
cooked.
go
I've got
for
a tarp
service.
over it, and the bloke who gave me the lawnmower's probably
So
going to
John
be
Deere
hearing
wants
this.
to sponsor this podcast.
If anyone's out there with a lawnmower, my lawn's fucked at home.
Sponsor us. Let's get some I get bars. Hey, these are going for fucking 60
What do they
bucks
cost?
now.
I'm not a vapor.
Well, because all these tobacco stores are getting burnt down.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
only like 10 of them left. So those last 10
Yeah.
are like, while they can, making so much money before they get burnt down. You know when you are in bed and you lose your vape, only the vapors know this, you lose it in the middle of the night and you wake up at 3, whether it's feed your cats or just go for a slash, toilet, whatever.
That's
and you
so
get back to bed and
specific
you're
to you.
like, oh my God, where's my vape? And you go into life crisis mode.
Does anyone out there get up and just feed your cats and look for your vape?
And then you're in bed and you know it's within the vicinity of the bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this happens all the time, bro. So you check in the back crevices without waking up your better half. And then I do the snow angel maneuver where I'm like, to feel like the bump in
So
the sheet.
assuming your missus is over here somewhere and she's copping a snow
Yeah,
angel.
well, I don't have that
at 3 in the
Super King
morning.
bed yet, so it's usually like you slap in there.
It's one of those ones.
But
across the
anyway,
face.
off that, yeah, so vaping's
so-
bad.
So for the people at home, you've had probably 20 minutes now of us talking out our ass.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's probably a good indicator of what they're going to expect. What can the listeners expect, you reckon? What can we give them in terms of...
Well, I think it's relatability. Well, at least we hope, but it's also bringing people in off your beautiful 28 network.
Absolutely.
I mean, you put the call out to get a bunch of stories,
Absolutely.
and they've come in their throng. You got a Bible,
And that's
full of folklore.
And
tales.
there's only so much you can do with that when you're just an Instagram page and whatever else. We can go viral with a couple of reels and whatever and say, hey, send your stories in. And
We're bringing the 28 to life. We're giving it a pulse and a heartbeat in a physical form.
And that little community, because it's gone past, so I've always said, this is why I kept the mask on. It's not, if the day it turns into a fucking influencer with a phone, the thing's dead.
We don't want to just do the slapstick stories. We want to get down to the nitty gritty of it.
And the same goes. I mean, we've had these unique sort of backgrounds with you've just been all over the world, met these wild people.
I'll bring 2 Chainz on eventually.
If you can get 2 Chainz on,
Yeah, I'll
it'd be
bring it
unbelievable.
from it.
But to even give you the other side of, I mean, my life was all footy and sport and all that sort of stuff, but there's been a select sort of few that have known this is what I'm doing in the background. And because of that, they've just been more open with me than they've been with probably anyone else in their sporting sort of life. So and they're all comfortable to talk. So it'd be great to bring some of these people in and just talk a bit more candidly about the realities of it. We're looking at the moment at the AFL drug code and all that sort of stuff. And we're just getting, the Players Association's version of it, the guys that are prim and proper and with their suit and ties on telling us how to keep yourself safe and what the go is with drugs and alcohol and all that sort of stuff, and mental health. I'd love to get some people that have actually lived it. Lived experience is the thing in social work. That is my other background. I didn't really mention that.
Yeah,
Been a social worker for the last 15 years. Working in mental health. And
I'm just in an appointment, actually.
Get used to that. That's sort of how this is going to roll.
This on the 28th evolving into that. Like I've seen, you should talk about that, like what's happening in Melbourne in like that kind of world. It's dangerous as well.
Well, it's like I can't, once you become sort of one of those people like a social worker or something or a mental health worker, you can't help but, even when it's dark humour that gets you through. You can't help but sort of slide back into that social worker vibe where you just want to, you listen to people and you just want to help them. And usually
it's a good trait.
I love it, and it means it gets more out of people that's actually true and honest and a real representation of what's going on in the world. But at the moment, what's going on in Melbourne, fucking hell, what's going on in Melbourne is everyone's getting on the dark web, getting all this gear in from China that's laced with nitazines and other things that I can't even pronounce. And they're dropping like flies. It's
like anthrax.
Anthrax. Remember anthrax in the mail was a thing?
No, that was a bit. Well, it was. I mean, it was.
Still is.
Like it's a mood.
It was this thing. It was this thing on TikTok. I saw some virals.
Blink-182 era 2002 was popping, and people getting anthrax in the mail.
It was such a vibe.
Oh no, it was a fucking murd.
Yeah, we're out of that. We're into get the naloxone so you don't drop dead era.
Well, I think it's noble of you to be doing that. As much as it's all a laugh, getting on it or whatever, and all the kids out there having fun, go for it. But it's what 28's doing, sending just a little bit of a warning label.
It's getting dangerous. It is.
Shows your age, mate.
Kids, it's getting dangerous.
We should, I know we're planning on it, is getting some of these viral superstars.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You know, the guy's like, hope you get the lot of your dog. Like, he's iconic. They're the stories we want.
We've got to bring him to life.
No, life after viralism. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
That's both of us in a nutshell, isn't
and
it?
it's like, because when these people are expressing their feelings so erratically on the news, I mean, they're in the crunch of a quarter life crisis
There's a
as
story
well.
there. There's all these, even the memers and those pages, like your Brown Cardigans, like your Winnie Blues, who we're both, mate, we love her.
Yeah.
Bringing them out of the internet and into
the show.
into life, and into this
the
show more
quarter life
specifically.
crisis, mate.
Yeah, because to start a meme page, you got to be in some sort of crisis.
I know, and on that, we also are starting a quarter life crisis line.
We are.
Which people are going to call up a 1-800 number.
I've actually got a caller.
Yeah, oh,
I've got
bullshit.
someone. I've teed someone up.
Well, I'm just going to say, as much as this podcast might seem regimented or researched, trust me, we've been doing a little bit of homework. In particular, JK28's been doing some. You've been doing a bit of pre-production on this episode just alone.
I've been collecting stories like Pokemon cards.
Bullshit.
There's a few, and they've come in thick and fast, but, you know, I thought I'd go with a nice, gentle one off the top. Bloke called Sammy from Brisbane reckons he had a fairly decent night out that maybe turned into...
And this is also an advertisement for people to send some in, and your
Absolutely.
chance to get live streamed on this podcast.
Yeah. And, I mean, let this set the tone. Get vulnerable. Get a little bit weird. We want it to be weird.
God,
Get
I'm already
vulnerable.
getting icky.
Yeah. I want your hand shaking like, should I be really
I
telling
haven't heard
this?
this. I have not heard this, though.
Well, I have heard this, and you're going to need to just stay with it.
Let's call the bastard up.
I think we'll call him now, but just warning,
Hey,
disclaimer.
Maney, get him on the line.
Stay with it. Stay with it.
Yeah?
All right, we got him.
We caught one.
We've caught a fish, and it's an immaculate
Mate,
fish.
by the looks of old Sammy here, he's at work in like one of those offices that is a conference room.
He's where I'll correct you. Where he is the R.M. Williams Social Club, because he's got the polo shirt on. He's got his.
Show us your boots, just quickly. See what boots you
You're
got.
wearing RMs, aren't you?
He's got them. He's wearing them. And he's in a conference room. So, dude, you've got a yarn you want to spin for us, and you're on to number 1, episode 1, dude. You are iconic at this stage.
Ground
so
floor.
let it rip, dude.
What happened was, like, I'm going back maybe 2 years ago now. Yeah, it was when Brizzy just got sort of just pelted with rain for a good constant week, I'd say. Got absolutely stuck into it. This girl sat next to me, and I can't remember a lot of what she said at all. I don't even recall what I had said back to her. One thing led to another, and I ended up getting in this cab with her and going back to her place. It was just not let up raining, like it was still pissing down. I remember like having yarns to the cabbie, like going past the river, just like, fuck, that's a bit high, like, what's going on there? Like, you know.
Oh, no.
And got stuck into it at her place. And for what I can remember of it, I don't remember much at all, to be honest, but it was all right.
So you're back there. Just to fast forward, and you're getting stuck into it.
I've woken up in the morning, probably around 6 o'clock. And I remember just looking at like my texts and stuff like that too. And then the first one that's rattled off is like the Queensland government had sent out like a severe weather warning, like flooding.
So you're stuck.
Oh, it's like a tornado. Cyclone Tracy's on its way.
Uber's completely just off the grid. Taxis wouldn't pick you up.
It's pissing down rain. It's category 3. Get home, board up your windows, and you're stuck at a bird's house after a techno party. And what's happening, mate?
Yeah, I couldn't remember much of the route the night before, so I said, fuck it, do you want to try again and throw the leg over? And she goes, yeah, sweet, let's have a crack. And to my surprise, she's agreed. I was like, righto. Anyway, so about a minute and a half in, like,
Go on, do it.
going for it, but then she starts like shaking, like compulsively. It's like
That could be a good thing, can't it?
That's
yeah,
it.
mate, literally, the fucktard that I am, I'm just like, fuck yeah, I've got it. Like, high five, brother. What's then happened is the eyes have rolled back in her head and she started frothing from the mouth.
Oh, bro. Dude, did you stop and call an ambulance?
Yeah, so as soon as I sort of realised that I wasn't what I thought it was, Commando rolled off the fucking bed and milled out of her room, and I've run downstairs to her housemate with nothing on.
Oh, really?
At half-mast.
So are you half-mast at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What do you say?
I was just in the heat of the moment, and I just said, "Look, hey, look, your housemate is just absolutely just, cooked it." She goes, "No, she's just fucked from night before." I said, No, she's completely fucked. There's something going on. There's an episode going on upstairs, and I don't know what was going through her housemate's mind, but she started following me up the stairs on fucking full kill off.
So she's imagine that for a second, people at home. You're running up the stairs and you still probably can't see anything through the legs because it's still pointing that way.
This is
but you got a brown
giving me
eye.
anxiety. This
It's stressful.
story. Jesus.
I've only gone.
Is she all right, bro? What's
That's the
going
most
on?
important
so
part.
you get through the door, you knock her, get a move on. Let's tell me what happened.
And so basically, we've thrown her in the recovery position, and she's we just sort of held her eyes open and made sure she's still breathing while the ambos were
Looked after her.
So what's happening? What was she having? An epileptic?
Yeah.
And you've mistaken
Yeah,
it for an orgasm.
You thought you were just doing really well.
So is she all right?
Sorry, mate.
I think she was okay.
But so
okay.
even if she needed help, which she did, how the ambulance can't? Are you going to get airlift medevac?
So the ambos did come from memory. You got the ambos?
They did. They drove through all the floodboard and they got there, took over because I was fucking losing it at this point. Like I had to go take a fucking few minutes breather because
Yeah, so how's your
it's a
panic
lot.
going?
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's heavy.
That's big tail.
Yes.
Man, Jesus Christ.
and they've done their thing and then they've gone, okay, well, we need to take a statement from someone, and everyone's like from the house and just pointed at me and said, you're gonna have to tell them what's happened because I was first on the scene.
How much?
You were first on the scene, all right?
You've been a very detailed bloke,
You started
Sammy.
the scene, mate.
How much detail did you give the ambos? Probably all.
I had to give them everything. Because I can get and mate, to look in these people's eyes, just they fell off their fucking camp chair. Like they were just like losing it at. Like they
laughing.
wanted to find it funny. Yeah, fuck yeah, they lost it.
How long do you end up at this house for? I don't want you to miss this.
I went in on the Friday night and I didn't get out there until the Tuesday, Arvo.
Oh my God. And what? She was she went to hospital, obviously.
So yeah, the Saturday night they took her away in the ambos and they didn't take me with them, and I begged the fuckers to take me with them because
Sammy boy's stuck at the house.
So what did you do with the housemates?
the housemates went with her to the hospital. They left me to house sit the fucking joint.
Oh my God, for 3 days or something.
Complete stranger.
What a story.
Talk about the quarter life crisis.
Oh, well, mate, it takes a lot of courage to come on and to start ripping into that story. But that's what it's about here, is taking the ego off and letting her rip. Brother, that's a cracker.
Did you keep in touch with her? I'm assuming you found out she was okay.
Yeah, she'd come back. We'd spent probably the next 2 days together. But
How'd that go?
Yeah, pretty mediocre.
Was the romance dead at that point?
It was dead normal, mate.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, that's good. It all worked out okay, and she was safe first and
number
foremost.
one.
But bloody
Jesus.
hell, that would have been a shock to the system.
Oh, mate, it still rattles me today.
Like one of those Vietnam sort of veterans, do you get nervous when you hear rain? Do you just start?
Trauma.
Call the ambos. There's rain.
I don't think I didn't touch anything after about 6 months after that. So.
Yeah, you need a breather. Yeah, he was.
So maybe some therapy or something.
Dude, well, thanks for kicking off.
You're a legend. Thanks, mate. Thanks for letting us talk through that with you.
So vulnerable. Well,
You're an absolute legend, mate.
we'll see you when you're down in Melbourne, all right?
You're a legend, mate.
See you, gents.
See you, mate. Catch you, bro. Dude,
I told you to
hands
stay with
are
it.
shaking, man.
I'll tell you need to stay with it.
That guy, vulnerable levels 2,000, Scoville 1,000 level. I was grabbing
know.
the seat.
I thought that's why I was getting anxious. My palms
Yeah,
are sweating,
sweaty.
mum's spaghetti sort of stuff.
It is.
Because when he goes into, there's a fit happening here. There's foaming at the mouth.
Dude, I write films
start-
and that. I'm starting to think that's like a movie. Like,
Yeah.
shit goes wrong south. You know, like that stuff happens.
As I was reading it, because
Like
he
if he
sent it
was
by
in
text.
America, I reckon he was going to jail.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? He's just like, not that he did anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. Let's
just to be
preface
clear.
that. But you know, in America, they're just like, get the fuck on the ground. They just say, girls having a fit. Fuck you, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
There was that crucial moment there when I think you asked, did you call an ambulance?
Yeah.
That was the bit when I first read it, like, mate, this is either going to go one direction or I need to call the cops myself. But, credit to him. He looked
Mate,
after it.
So, look, they're the type of stories we're after.
Yes.
Is mind-blown tales of...
Just, you thought it's going to go one way and it went another.
But it's also when you realise you're in a quarter-life crisis.
That's it. I mean, there was so many touch
And hats
points
off
there.
to Sammy there. That
Bloody
is,
oath.
I reckon he's actually going to get some girls inboxing him after
Well, when
this.
you said
like,
he's
it's
still
that
in
the
a-
magic wand cock that gives you a fit. That's your one-liner, isn't it?
Sammy, you're not on the line anymore, but just don't you lie to me. You thought you gave her a rattler.
A rogering.
You thought you gave her a rogering.
Anyway, next week we're going to be talking to the chick that was involved in that. God, it would be funny to see two sides of the tale.
If you're listening, seriously.
They're the stories we want, man.
We do want
the
those.
tales of trepidation where you've come through the other side and it's gone
Those
whammo.
crisis points.
Well, the
We wanna
story
hear
that
'em.
no one ever believes, the story where your mate's going, fuck off, mate.
There's mayo all over that.
And we don't mind a bit of mayo
I mean,
either.
if you need to put GST on or a little bit of mayo on the sandwich.
A bit of MSG.
A little bit of mayo on the sandwich. It never went astray.
No.
But we need your help.
We are hunting them like Buck Hunter, mate. We are in the corner of the pub shooting those ones off. That's what we want to hear at the 28. And that's what you're going to expect more. Because in the end, we can fart ass on, but it's not about us, it's about you.
Oh, yeah. It was nice. That's very smooth.
Man, was it a double trigger? Yeah. I don't have my gun license up.
And what will help us keep going every week is you need to like, subscribe, follow everything on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. That's going to keep us going.
Yeah,
That'll bump
it helps
us up the
going
chart.
and makes sure that we're not just a one-hit wonder episode, even though I hope it was a hit. I
hope it's a hit. It's got to be a hit.
Bro,
I
it
mean,
might be pretty shit.
if we just
I
ask each
reckon we
other,
did
it's the
all right.
greatest episode of all
Look,
time.
You are 28-year-old male or female. Come and join us. We love you and see you every hump day.
See you next week.
Oh, I'm growing a fucking beard back here, man.
Hope you get the lot, you dog. Get back on protecting your mate.
Might just join you by the bed there, mate. What's going on? Waiting for a mate. That way your car's all smashed up.
Can't wait for some of these. Man, this is going to be good ass.